Right, welcome back to Modern Daze. We're now in session 16 and just finished the first arc of our story. Though we're just finishing off the tail ends of bits and pieces, and we have a full table all ready to start. This week's question for our players is... Hang on, I've literally just put it down and now I won't be able to find it. Now that you have reached level 13, what do you feel your character has learned or gained? It doesn't have to be just exclusively from the game so far. It could be from previous history. So let's start with Kyle. I don't often pick on Kyle. I'm going to pick on him today.
Not ready. Okay. You made your way to drink. Hi, I'm Carl. I play Gaiman the Paladin. I mean, the biggest thing he's probably learned again is actually, no, I haven't really struggled.
If you need me to come back, I will come back.
Yeah, if you can. I was thinking I had something and then I lost it.
Oh, no. Okay. Oh, in that case, I'll pick on Ken.
2 measly bloody hit points.
That's all he's gained.
No, seriously. The recent solo adventure has taught Liam, or at least alerted Liam. It's almost like he's learnt that he doesn't know anything about his history and his ancestry and his abilities, and he's learnt that he's got a lot more to learn, and there's a lot more that can happen and stuff. So, yeah.
Awesome. I love it. Ben,
And
you ready?
2 hit points.
Yes. I think what Hendrix has mostly learned from this kind of this arc that we've had is that mages be crazy. There's been some absolutely bonkers stuff going on, and it's all been a bit of an eye-opener for Hendrix. I mean, he only really kind of had experience of his master John up until like a year or so ago, and then although he's seen a few mages, they've been fairly sort of stuffy shirt types, and you know, everything that's gone on has been pretty mad. Also, I think this has been his first experience of pocket realms, which I think he's found very interesting, kind of in his thoughts now about ways to try and find John. And finally, he's also discovered he can remove his image from people's minds and become invisible. So I think he's going to be wanting to play with that quite a lot. But there is a sort of I don't think, you know, this is something that he's been practicing and is now sort of an extension of his power. This is something that's some sort of darkness that's stirred within him and has just kind of surprised him as much as anyone else.
Maybe it was that jaunt being chased by a werewolf.
Yeah, really
through Caer
letting
Sidi.
the wild side out for a little while.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's go Ian.
Hi, I'm Ian. I play Darrell, the Blaze Singer. Well, Darrell's learned generally what everyone else has learned about the last few weeks of in-game time. He thinks back that I think the point in his learning process where he jumped forward was when he realised his affinity to fire magic. It's considered a fairly strong mage across the whole gamut, but he's particularly effective with fire, which has led him to a slight obsession with it.
Firebug. He is the twisted
Who isn't
fire
obsessed
starter.
by fire?
I'm not too keen on it, if I'm honest. Andy.
Hi, I'm Andy. I play Baron, the better paladin.
Oh, he got it in.
Had you back?
Not to steal Kyle's line. So Baron has discovered, I mean, apart from all the obviously stuff in that's taken place in the sessions, there's a couple of things within the sessions that that have been particularly important sort of revelations for Beren. The most important is the information that the god he worships may actually be wounded, struggling, damaged, not entirely sure what. And he's interested to find out where that goes, and also that may be tied to his memory problems. Presumably he's remembered he has got memory problems, because he does forget he's got memory problems. Anyway, but the other main thing he's come to a realization of, which he has experienced before, but he does periodically forget, is that he really benefits from working in a group of adventurers rather than trying to do things on his own. He can do things on his own, but it is definitely better when there are companions, and he's quite a social person, even though he lives quite an isolated life. Companionship is something that he does quite value.
I'm Tom. I play Raffy Matthews. Similar to Beren, he's had to do a lot of stuff on his own with his role within the 13 Warriors, because they're scattered across the globe and they're not all around at the same time. So it's rare that they actually meet up unless something big is going down. So he's done a lot of stuff on his own, and he's having to relearn how to be part of a team. And he's looking forward to actually getting to know these people, and potentially help them do something that they need to do in case he needs some help with something in the future.
Yeah, trade-offs.
Yeah.
And we'll come nicely back to Kyle.
The best paladin.
It's already been taken.
Best paladin, I like that.
Yeah.
So, Kevin's learned two things. Allies come in some very unusual shapes and sizes, but they seem to work quite well. And gods don't always know what's best for themselves.
I like that.
Never a truer word. Okay. Previously, our heroes had completed their oath to the old boar, Gwydion. They had travelled across Caer Sidi to fight the dark mage Ethnesian, was successful, got some goodies, had a few bits of lore drop, nothing too major right now, and was transported back to Gwydion's Glade, where the spring which holds the healing waters, or supposed healing waters, of Caer Sidi, and there they began to help with a ritual. Morwyd, one of the great granddaughters of Arian Rude, had started to perform. Little did Gwydion know that his request to have the ting removed, his curse that made him not quite a god anymore, restoring him to godhood, and then securing him to the ley lines. Not thinking it through properly, the ley lines being a form of god ward. As soon as he was secured, he was zipped off to Tir na Nog, probably not too happy about it. But he is now a fully fledged god again. How he's going to deal with that in the 21st century, he'll figure it out. They then had to perform the ritual again to make sure that there was in fact a circle spirit. Otherwise, these guys will find it very difficult to get home.
Did we do
And
that?
yes, you just completed it.
Okay.
Morwood had saved some power specifically because she realised what would happen, as did our heroes, due to some psychic eavesdropping. Hendrix,
Not just a pretty
dropping,
face.
not just a pretty face. He ain't been
Luckily.
dropping no weaves, sir. Right in her head, finding out what was going to happen. Our heroes decided that it doesn't necessarily go against the oath that they made. Seems to be correct. He still technically owes you all a boon, except Liam. And you have a circle spirit now, although a very exhausted one. Morwood is currently sitting with Huel and Gwyn, as Beren, Darrell, and Hadman stand in the clearing next to the spring, investigating it. Hendrix, Liam, and Raffi are running circles around the location. I believe, Hendrix, you said that you were going to lead. You did a high enough survival check to lead wherever you wished.
Yep.
And you were doing concentric circles back to the middle. Was that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And I believe we left off with Beren asking Morwood, what on earth was that all about, indicating the situation with Liam.
Yes.
So we'll start off there. Morwood, clearly exhausted from the whole ordeal, has not moved from her spot on the ground next to the ritual circle. But she's still with it. She's still,
You are
whether
you are drained and tired.
yes.
Would you care for? It's not quite magical food, but I have something that can give you a burst of energy.
Mars bar.
You beat me to it.
Son of a bitch. She says, I would be grateful for any aid that you would offer.
I shall pull out a Mars bar from an inside pocket, and
love
Hendrix just like happens to turn up at that moment.
At that moment.
The concentric circle comes past.
I shall tear the wrapper off, hand the bar to her, and give the wrapper to Hendrix to lick.
Oh. I don't think I'm there yet, am I? We're not. We're still running.
We'll say that just as you see,
You can smell it a mile away, mate.
Yeah.
I see. Do you hear the wrapper? You're not there, but you do hear the wrapper, and that's what guides you back into the clearing. But you're not quite there yet. We'll get to that. She takes the chocolate bar, turns it over. You see, I mean, she's got an owl face, so it's quite hard to read her expression unless you know her. But there is a curious look as she sort of turns it over in her hand, in her talons, and then she kind of nibbles at it. There's a shock expression, and then she nibbles a bit more. She seems to like it. Sort of.
You've got a Fae gone addicted to sugar, Andy. Well done.
That's it. Well done.
You know that owls are allergic to chocolate, right?
Oh no!
It's poisonous like dogs.
Not only I didn't, but Beren didn't either.
If every time Hendrix eats a Mars bar, I'm going to make him do a con save.
You should do.
Well, you see, this is part of me testing the fact as to whether he's a dog that's been given intelligence or a human that's been turned into a dog.
Oh wow!
Because I think if he can eat Mars bars, then he's definitely a human turned into a dog.
Well, that must mean my dog's a dog, a human turned into a dog,
or just a lead belly.
Yeah.
She eats it, but her speech, much like Hendrix's sometimes, comes psychically, so she can talk while she's eating. And
That's not disconcerting
To
at
We
all.
us,
can all talk whilst we're eating. She just doesn't make a mess.
she just does it
very well.
politely. She says, "Your friend Liam, I would not. You have not seen him transform before, no?"
No.
Hmm.
And sorry, I shall look at who's there? It's Darrell and Cadman are there, aren't they?
Yes, Darrell.
I shall look, I have not, but then look at them in case they have.
Yeah.
I've obviously never seen it, but certainly suspected it after the explosion previously.
Yes, he does seem the secretive sort, not in a how would you say? Not in a deliberate sense. He holds a lot of cards to his chest. I believe that is a form of survival for him. His transformation can be quite distressing. He may need your help after he returns. I believe they'll be here soon. And she looks towards the clearing about 5 seconds before Hendrix comes running through, followed shortly by. Well, actually, do you think Liam would be still in this hybrid form, or do you
Yep.
think that he's
Until
so
he's,
follow?
until Hendrik stops,
Mm,
he is mindless and
just
just
kind of running after.
following the rage. As soon as Hendrik stops,
Yeah,
it will make you realise.
and then
And
the
then he'll eat
the,
Hendrix.
the three the three canines come jogging through. Hendrix followed by Liam, followed by Raffi with a wolf.
Glowing wolf.
Baked, glowing,
Yeah.
spirit shrouded armor over his head and body.
We're real dogs, mate.
Just the pack. The leader of the pack. Yeah. Hendrix. Unfortunately, the Mars bars were gone, mate.
Oh,
As Liam stops,
you didn't steal me a Mars bar.
stops, and then Liam stops, and he collapses on all fours and slowly transforms back into his human form, and he is sobbing uncontrollably on the floor.
Just because it would be insensitive to do it now, as he starts to transform back, I am pulling out another Mars bar and chucking it at Hendrix, but
Okay.
because I think from the way Ben was talking, I think Hendrix is giving Berin those mournful dog eyes.
Definitely. But I think also Hendrix will leave the Mars bar where it lays for just for a second, keeping a beady eye on it, but to go over to Liam and just kind of lick his face and sort of say, "It's all right, man. We understand."
Is that psychically you were saying, or is
Yeah.
that out loud?
I'll say it psychically.
Okay.
I believe that everybody except Morwood and the two others are on that particular line, so everyone would have heard it except them three.
And then it goes back to the Mars bar.
And then he goes back to the Mars. Liam, it is your body is used to this, somewhat used to this sort of transformation. Everything hurts, and as you say, he's sobbing. There's an ache more than just a physical ache still in his chest, and it just pours out of you until there's nothing left, and you're able to sort of collect yourself. And everyone's just kind of there. If anybody wants to do anything, they can, but you're all kind of gathered. You know, nobody's gone anywhere. Morwood and Gwyn and Hywel are just sitting watching you guys.
I'll when I can get up, one thing we've never kind of gone into is what happens to his clothes and equipment and stuff.
So there is because of the shape of the hybrid, although it's very top heavy.
Yeah.
So generally, I think your top half tends to get the clothing will be ripped and torn and things like that. Bottom half is not too much of a difference in terms of like mass. It's the only difference is obviously your legs take that weird what's the word where it's like your knees go backwards and that thing.
Retrograde. I think
Retrograde. There we go. The legs become retrograde, but there's I think Liam wears sort of suitable enough clothing to kind of anticipate
deal
it.
with it that way. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's up to you. It's not polymorph, so they don't get
No.
sucked
I
into the
realised
skin.
that
It's
it
not
wasn't
magic.
polymorph.
Yeah.
We've done it before, and he ran through the wood from the fire, from the explosion, but he had all of his equipment on him when he arrived at Morwood.
Yes. Oh yeah, the equipment, because I think that being a ranger anyway, you've got a lot of modern day types of equipment, sort of those kind of military style bags with webbing and things like that. Things that just kind of stick to your body. They might change with your shape. You've probably modified bits to kind of suit a shape in either shape, just in case. I don't want there to be a situation where
it only came to my mind as I was thinking over the that one day, and hang on a minute. We didn't mention about that.
I think if there's ever a case where you've transformed and you were, say, holding things, like physically holding things, they've probably gone flying. But a lot of your stuff is going to be like pocketed items of clothing that are a bit stretchy, etc. Ready for that. Maybe your leather jacket is not so much, and that gets ripped at the seams and is often like sewed up along the back seam and the shoulder seams, and you're just there's somebody that repairs it. It's like, dude, what the fuck do you do with this?
I dare say that he'd repair it himself.
Probably, yeah. Coming from the background, yeah.
So what you're saying is that Liam wears stretchy clothing. So I've now got a mental image of
lycra.
A werewolf in lycra, yeah.
We've already ascertained that you want to see me naked, Andy.
I know it, yeah. Just keeps coming up, Andy.
It just gets worse and worse, mate.
No, I most certainly do not wish to see you.
Yeah.
That's right. You wanted him to put up a sackcloth head.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to get up, stand up. I won't make eye contact with anybody, and I'll walk over to Morwood and ask her if she's feeling up to the blood ritual that she mentioned. The blood.
Yeah.
What was it?
Blood reading.
Blood reading.
She says, I don't think I will have the power to do this, but I will make it a priority to do this as soon as I am able.
How long do you think that'll be, lass?
After I'm given at least a night of rest.
Okay. I'll hang on. Do you need any healing?
It is not so much physical damage. I was taken quite good care of by your companions in terms of my physical wounds, but I think it is more exhaustion that I need to take.
Sleep then, lass.
What is it that you wish to do? And she addresses this to all of you. Are you I understand since the stranger's demise and our untethering from the mundane realm, you may wish to return sooner rather than later. Time may have been skewed by its unforeseen untethering. I can do this for you at any point. That is something that I am now able to do somewhat innately, as I am now part of the ley lines. I can feel that I could do this for you whenever you are ready to.
Are you able to tell what time
Not
difference
unless I
there is?
go, not unless I pass over to the other side myself.
Okay.
However, we have yet to have a spirit guardian, a circle guardian, on this side of Caer Sidi. I do not know how it will affect this pocket realm's how it functions. Iron Druid created it as a haven for herself, a sanctuary of sorts. Many gods did this back in the days, a place where they could belong without being in the mundane realm, a place where they were solely in charge of what happened, sharing space with other gods becomes somewhat tense sometimes. She created it to be not part of the ley lines. Well, she seems to rethink what she said. Not created it with that in mind, but that is its purpose and a positive side effect, it seems, when the ley lines were created.
So Darrell sort of pipes up a bit here and says that, but so far as we're aware, we could step back hundreds of years, change if it's up that untethered. If it's not, then the worst case scenario is we go back a month later. For understanding of the what Professor
That's right.
Renwick.
said. That being the case, obviously this blood ritual reading that you're talking about is important to Liam. I suggest that if 30 days is going to make a difference, then it might be worth the time taken rather than rushing back now.
I don't know. Seems to think about it. I'm gonna make her a roll actually, just for her own intelligence, against her own intelligence, because just so to see if she actually knows the answer to this. She don't know shit. Says, I am happy for you to go whenever you wish. You are all welcome here, as you have helped liberate it from two entities that would seek naught but its destruction. I think we owe you a great deal, and speaking on behalf of the one of three only residents in this realm, you have our gratitudes. She's happy to send you back literally whenever. She doesn't know how long time has passed between the realms.
Well,
She hasn't been in the mundane realm ever. She was born in this realm and she's never left.
would it be wise, I'm saying this to the rest of my companions, for all of us but Liam to return? Well, firstly, this pool appears to have the healing properties, and we probably should discuss what is in the bottom of it.
So there's something shining at the bottom. Isn't there?
Yeah, but should
That'd be
we?
the cauldron, wouldn't it?
Yeah, one would hope.
Yeah.
But would it be wise for us to fill up the various magical containers we brought with us to carry this healing water, and then to return to Lord Renwick, with potentially the exception of Liam, who stays here to wait one night, to then have this ritual cast on you to do I don't really know what, and then you follow back a day later.
My only counter to that is I'm not in a position to put up a fight. And someone's killed the stranger.
Okay. No, okay. I sorry. I get your logic. No, we should all then, for safety, waiting one night, recovering, wait for Liam to have the ritual cast on him, and then return. That makes sense. So we're all refreshed before we. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Also, well, is it worth trying to sort out some kind of arrangement where we can use this as a base when we need to pop back here?
Well, the entrance when Morwood, when you attach back to the mortal realm, will it be the same entrance point?
Yes, the entrance points will be the place where the ley lines overlapped. I believe, unless that is changed, it should be the same location.
So that island in the Skerries. So that's the only thing with using it as a base, Hendrix. Except you've got to get a boat from North Wales into the sea.
Yeah, granted, but it's still an entire realm where we know the queen who controls the entire land.
Fair.
And
I suggest it be like a retreat then, instead of
sure, yeah, not
Rappy's
where you
gonna
come
open
every
up a
night,
fucking
but
Haven Holidays.
Oh,
A bunch of caravans. There's a bunch of screaming kids.
yeah. Well, he does start passing out. He starts passing out little shot glasses to people. I think we also deserve a shot for doing all of that, and Liam, you deserve 2 for scaring us like that. So here's to everyone's health. Maybe do something similar in the future, and not go our separate ways. Cheers.
What is the alcohol you're passing around?
Whiskey. Just a
Tesco's own.
Liam will down his in there.
yeah,
Is it good quality whiskey or
reasonable. It's probably around about a 12-year-old whiskey.
okay?
It's a single malt, though, yeah?
Sure.
Oh my God.
I think
Well, it's a
Hendrix
otherwise
looks
I've
at
got
it.
this hip flask with a single malt. But yeah, it's
What does Hendrix do with it?
Yeah, I think Hendrix sort of turned his head to the side and looks at it a couple of times, and then sort of sighs, and then uses his a little magic hand thing to kind of pick it up, and then turns his head sideways and does this complicated way to down it.
But that's so fun.
Baron follows Darrell's lead, and he'll down this whiskey, but then he'll swill the glass out and fill it with some nice French brandy from his hip flask.
Doesn't forget that he's got nice phone brandy.
Hey, if you're sharing, you're sharing.
Liam's done.
He'll pass that out.
His-
If you remember, Rafi was there when he got some more of it from the
From the hotel.
yeah.
So
But yes, he'll pass that round as well.
Also, we need to make a bargain with this woman to take the cauldron.
Cauldron. Oh, cauldron.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why bother filling up 5 little flasks if we can take the bloody thing that creates it in the first place?
That's fair.
Will it work elsewhere?
Yeah, well, if it's the nature of the place that makes it work the way it does, because that's the stories we've heard, it can reanimate the dead.
Yeah,
I'm not sure it. I don't know. I mean,
I don't even want
Personally,
to take this out of this realm because
if
I think
it's
it's bloody dangerous.
yeah, if it's reanimating the dead, I've got to deal with enough dead and spirits and stuff. I don't want any more coming back.
It's also healing, though.
Yeah, in
That's
fairness,
true.
if we've got a way of contacting Morwood from the cave where the stranger was, maybe there was a circle in that cave.
The circle leads to the dolmen, which is in this realm.
Oh, right, okay, that won't work then.
Yeah, it doesn't lead to anywhere else because otherwise you would have just transported here directly, but you had to go to that random mage's property.
Yeah,
that had
and the
fancy.
circle.
There is a circle in Renwick's house.
Yeah,
at the
I
back,
knew that. I think about getting
memorized.
here though. I might just have to.
Oh
use,
yeah, to get yeah.
I might have to use one of those 7th level spells I've just learned.
Yes.
Okay.
What level's plane shift, and do you have it?
I don't. It might actually. I think it is 7th level, but I would take that one.
Yeah, because that's essentially what that teleportation circle between the place in the Skerries to here does, because it's going into a different realm.
Yeah.
So it's less. I don't know if teleportation will take you to a different realm.
No, it won't.
No.
No, I was all I was thinking about is getting to the cave where the mortal realm was. We'll have to have a way of contacting Morwood if we want entrance, I guess.
Yeah. She explains that she can step through to this location on the mundane realm where it's tethered to and send a message. She's got sending. Which you can then respond to, but obviously she knows when she's going to be here, that sort of thing. So it's a bit like she can contact you if she ever needs you, but obviously she realizes that you might need to contact her, and then it's a bit of a trick for you, and etc. Whilst you guys are sort of chatting and having this conversation, the place where Gwydion had that magical fire that you'd sworn your oaths over, Gwyn and Huel sort of silently start to go about clearing a space around it, making it almost like just a temporary camp, sort of anticipating people's need to rest. And it seems like that they're used to just going around Caer Sidi and setting up somewhere for the evening, just to stay. Yeah.
Darrell says, "Oh, if we're going to stay here, I want to try something." And I'll use the one spell slot I've got left because I've just got it. And I cast Magnificent Mansion.
Shimmering, semi-invisible door appears. Once it's in place, I believe it becomes fully invisible, doesn't it? Unless it's
if it's shut,
means.
Yeah, if it's shut, it becomes invisible. When it's open, it's visible.
So it shimmers into place. You see the shimmer happen to a doorway shaped thing, and then it becomes invisible.
Please come join me, and I walk through the door.
He opens the door, and there's a door that appears as he turns the handle of it, and there's a doorway there leading to a space within this pocket realm, a pocket within a pocket, if you
Is that
will.
safe? Is that
That
like
what? Is that
As
safe?
long as you
Yeah,
don't bring,
yeah.
as long as you
It's
don't bring a
not.
bag of holding in, then we're
Yeah,
fine.
it's not a bag holding inside a. Yeah.
Oh shit!
No, it doesn't work like that. It's not. It technically does work like that, but it's silly because the amount of times people go in with fucking bags of holding and shit. I think it only really applies to items. So I'll allow this to have a. Because otherwise, every bubble realm that I make, nobody can go into it with extra dimensional spaces in it, and that just.
Sucks.
You guys may enter this this mansion. Morwood kind of is on the outside, sort of ducking her head and looking inside. She's not actually going in, but she's just having a look. Sort of.
I'm going in, and I'd like
curious.
Ian to describe what it looks like.
by this time
Mm.
Liam's finished off all of Darrell's
whiskey.
and Baron's alcohol. Oh well, I hope there's some more whiskey inside. It seems to be a bit dry out here, and I'll walk in.
I'm sure we can. It can be arranged. So as you walk in through the door, you find yourselves in what probably best described as a ski lodge boot room. So on the right-hand wall, there is lots of places to store your cloaks and your coats and your jackets, your boots. On the left-hand wall, you find there's sort of robes that you can feel free to use, and slippers on the floor. Not that you need to worry about it. The ambient temperature is very pleasant, but this just gives you that sort of little snuggly, cuddly feel to the place, which you feel a bit more welcome. As you walk in through this sort of boot room, you feel that the ski lodge theme continues. It's very modern design though, so there's lots of glass and steel around, mixed with honey-coloured floor, wooden floor. What immediately hits you is the left-hand wall is floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. There is a ladder that slides along on rails that goes along those bookshelves. Any of you care to go and check the shelves, you'll find hundreds and thousands of mundane books. There's nothing particularly arcane or anything about them. There'll be some histories there, and particularly some lore books probably around Fae, but nothing that isn't well known or a popular lore. Opposite that, you've got a long window panel, and as you look out, you look for what looks like an elevated position down into a glade, with a stream running beneath and a forested area on the other side of the stream. Anyone who knows Arcadia may well recognise this is a scene from the Fae realm of Arcadia, where Darrell grew up. In the middle of the floor is what Darrell euphemistically calls a talking pit. It's a sunken area of floor which is lined round the outside with sofas and chaise longues, interspersed with little side tables for you to put your drinks. In the middle of that pit, there's an open fire. Although the flames seem smokeless, there is a hood over that fire that goes up to a flue through the ceiling. Nothing seems to be holding it up. It's just there, sort of hanging. As you sit in the sofas, you can see over the flames to where your companions would be sitting. There's a single door. Sorry, I should mention this. In the bookshelves, there's a single door in the middle of the wall between the bookshelves. Darrell doesn't lead you through there, but it says through there's the spa. There's a sauna, a steam room, various massage tables, and a hot tub. He then leads you further up the room, where you find a table, the dimensions of a dining table. Again, sorry, the talking pit, you probably get about 10 people comfortably seated in that area. The dining table is about the same sort of size, in terms of seating people, but rather than being 4 foot high, it's 2 foot high. And rather than chairs, there's loads of beanbags and cushions and that sort of thing for people to relax on, rather than sitting in formal chairs. Then further on, there's a curved wall, and you'll find there's 7 doors in that wall. Each one leads to a bedroom. The doors are evenly spaced around the wall. The central one has got a little bit more space than the others, and the initials DK are embossed on that door. They'll suggest, please pick any of those rooms for your stay here, and whenever we stay here, that will be your room. And he suggests you go and check out your room. He says, but please, not the one on the far right. That belongs to someone else, I hope. And do you want to go and look at the rooms?
Sure, why not?
Ian's looking for the whiskey.
In due time, my friend. In due time. As you go into the room, there's a snap sort of feeling that you get. And actually, as you walk in, it's the room that you would be most comfortable in. Yeah, it's decorated the way you would decorate it. It's got the same sort of furniture that you would find comfortable. There is a small ensuite bathroom to each room. And again, there's a window in there as well. That window looks out onto your favourite view. None of these are all illusions. You can't exit any of the windows; they're all still shut, including the one looking over Arcadia. Darrell comes out and goes to the end door, the one he indicated not to use, and he knocks on the door with a hopeful look on his face.
You hear after a few moments the sound of somebody standing from a chair inside, and footsteps come to the door. And the door opens. Please, can you describe what summer looks like?
Actually, I sent you a picture. Have you
Do you want me to? Yeah, apologies.
If you could, it would probably be better than my description.
No, I'm going to make you describe it. Every piece.
Okay, well, I need to find the picture
He'd
myself.
love that.
No.
It's got pages on his mansion. I was surprised we haven't got a 3D CAD image turn up, complete with a video tour.
Oh, hang on. It's going to make me. Here we go. Yes.
I could probably find it and share my screen. Although that won't be useful for the stream.
Yeah, no, don't worry. It's okay. I got it. I just need to actually get it onto the Roll20. I did not remember put it on, so.
Or
Add character.
So in fairness, I wasn't necessarily going to be casting this today, but
Yeah, I should have done it as soon as you sent it, really, but it's fine. It's fine. I've got it. I can work quickly. Summer. Here we go, and now show to all players. Greeting you at the door with a warm smile. As warm as can you see that?
Yeah.
I can't. I can see just I can see a rough outline, but I can't see the picture. It's not.
okay.
I can.
It's come out fine for me. It must be
I think it's just your computer.
My computer's probably just.
You're the only one that actually knew what she looked like, so you don't.
So hey,
count.
it doesn't make too much difference, does it?
She stands there looking.
So have you said the name?
Can I? Yes, can I run up to her and shout, "Summer! It worked! It worked!" And I pick her up in a hug and sort of spin round with her, and then all of a sudden go, "Oh, sorry, Summer."
She goes, "Yeah, yes, it does seem to have worked. I find this quite unusual." And she actually goes over to, in her room, there is a large fireplace and there's a large mirror above it. And she goes over and she's sort of looking at herself in the mirror. Those of you that are perhaps standing around watching can see that as she's turning her head this way and that, the silver streaks in her hair sort of, move to the side. You see these long elven ears, and she nods. You've done well. Yeah.
Can
So?
I check something out of character?
Yeah, sure.
We know Darrell's sword. Is it sword or it's staff? Staff is called
No, it's the rapier itself.
It's called
That's
Summer's
hidden
Song.
inside it's called Summer's Song. And he'll turn around and say, "Oh, sorry, excuse my being a terrible host. You all heard her, and now you can meet Summer."
So you all heard the voice as she was speaking. It is exactly the same voice as the voice that comes from Darrell's sword. But she apparently has been made corporeal. She's a person, at least in this realm.
Mages
So
definitely be crazy.
The wonders of magic.
The
mages
question
be
is,
crazy.
You won't get me getting off with a
you've got
sword.
locked in a pocket realm that can talk through your sword, or is it the sword manifestation?
This spell has allowed allowed Summer to manifest in a corporeal body. She is the spirit that is within my sword.
Nice. Lady Summer, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
It's a pleasure to meet you all at eye level. She looks down at Hendrix.
Yeah.
In a
bit
sense.
It's all right. It always happens.
Goes up and helps the leg.
Oh no! Okay.
Darrell then turns around and sort of claps his hands and says, "Please, please come sit." And as you do that, these a number of sort of almost translucent, fey-looking creatures come out, bearing food, and it's particularly nice food. And he calls Darrell calls one of them over and goes, "Please, bring the best whiskey."
A couple of them sort of nod, gliding away, coming back sort of with a couple of trays of different ambered coloured liquids in decanters.
Yes, well, feel free to use the amenities. The servants, for want of a better word, are at your beck and call, but please don't offend them because you would offend me. They are here to serve, but within appropriate bounds.
So no belly rubs then.
No, I could probably run to a belly rub.
There's a massage table, Hendrix.
Yeah, I was about to say there's a massage table. Belly rubs are certainly within the realm.
Liam will grab one of the decanters and go and sit on one of the chairs silently, start drinking.
It's good alcohol, whatever it is.
He doesn't care.
Whatever it is that you've grabbed, yeah, it's good. But
at the moment,
I don't think Liam is quite of a caring nature, as he just wants to obliviate his own mind right now.
Yep.
Summer says softly, Elandril, and looks towards the doorway where you can still see Morwood waiting patiently outside the threshold.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I'll move out. Then think to myself, shit, I only made 7 bedrooms. Okay. And go, please, Boyd, come, join us. There's more than enough for all.
only if 'tis not too much of an imposition. And she seems quite curious about this place. She'll enter first with a very sort of. Gwyn is sort of like following very closely behind her. He's like sticking to her like glue, and Hool is like starry-eyed kid, like wow, look at all this stuff. And he's as soon as he's in, he's just walking along the side, so that touching everything, metal furniture, the glass, books, everything. He's just mesmerized by it. Morwood enters again. Gwyn is sort of to her like glue, like a shadow, and she enters, and her and Summer come face to face, and you don't know if there's like a psychic like greeting that happens, but after a few seconds, Morwood bows very deeply towards Summer, holds it for a few seconds, and then comes up, and then Summer smiles and sort of gestures towards the seating area, and they kind of drift off to an area and just sit and chat.
Did I get any of the psychic messages?
If you were trying to get into the, I would say it would have to be quite quick. So I'll make it so for you
can
to
say that it
catch
passed before I had the opportunity. That's fair. I mean, if it was just.
I mean, Hendrix has done this before, so I think that it's not out of the realms of possibility. And it'd be quite interesting to see if he catches it. So if you make me just a straight charisma check. Straight charisma, there's a DC attached to this. It'll be quite high, but if he does, then you might get something.
So just hit the charisma thing.
Charisma.
Okay.
Just to see if you could touch on the.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No. Yeah, no. I mean, it's all right, but no. You don't really catch anything. If anything, actually, you feel like as you reach out to do it, you're a little bit more rebuffed than usual, as if someone had maybe been expecting it and blocked you.
Blackback. Okay, fair enough.
So, yeah, they go off, and so it's just obviously you guys now. Hool's there, but he's just sort of like, wow, picking up a book. He's just reading all this strange language.
I do say to the party, feel free to take and read any of the books, but anything that leaves here, well, you can't take any of the stuff away. It dissipates as soon as you leave the mansion, Knight's Lodge as it is.
Does that include the food and drink?
Food and drink you have consumed, but if you take it with you, it will dissipate.
Please don't ask the arcane question of at what point does it disappear, because it turns into a whole thing.
It's as you cross the threshold for me. It just
mages be crazy.
He also says anything you leave in the lodge will be ejected when I stop the spell. So you can't use this as a place of safekeeping.
Right, if you guys want to sort of RP amongst yourselves, I'll be back in 2 seconds.
So, folks, what's next on the agenda for you once we've handed over this healing stuff to the Renwicks?
Anyone?
That is a very good question.
I need to try and find out what's going on in Fae. We left the mortal realm as word of war in Fae has reached me. I need to understand what the implications of that is.
Darrell, you know more of the Fae than I do. These masked people we met at one point, we encountered at one point.
Yeah.
The Hunt.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the full name of them.
They're like black dogs or something, weren't they?
No, they
Yeah.
had black dogs with them.
But they were the Wild Hunt. I don't know.
Wild Hunt, that was it. The Wild Hunt. Is that connected to the Fae as well?
The Wild Hunt, they're a Fae phenomenon. Out of character, if I'm being honest, I'd have to read the Fae lore that
Bea put, yeah.
that Bea's provided. But now she's back, she can probably provide it herself.
Sorry, Bea, there's a question going on about the Wild Hunt and how connected to the Fae are they? So could they be connected to this disruption that's going on in Fae?
Specifically, the disruption we're talking about, where we're talking about the disruption that was told to Darrell.
Yeah, the war.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, absolutely. I believe actually, was it Anna? What's her name?
Yeah, Anna was the
Anna.
The god that buried it.
I think she explained to you that. God, I'm just trying to think of what I've said versus what it is. I believe she explained to you that things had kicked off. Obviously the whole thing with it was definitely the Wild Hunt that had come to the Mages Council. Had caused a bit of a diplomatic incident between realms, and then during that attack, the Everwreath was stolen, which then caused civil war in Fairy, because essentially the Everwreath is supposed to have been passed around all of the courts. Some are having it during the summer, Winter Court's having it during the winter, thus keeping up the seasons as usual, and it was stolen. Anna explained that the Duke Kerrigan of the Winter Court claimed that Queen Anya, the Petty Queen Anya, had taken it, and seeing as she had apparently fled her realm with Sir Francis in tow, it is assumed that that is probably correct. But obviously, nobody really knows anything. All they know is that everything's suddenly gone to shit in Fairy. So there are connections, but exactly where and how and why, you don't know yet without investigating.
So that would, for me, finding out what Sir Frank's fate, the Summer Knight's fate is important to me. But I understand there's several parties in this group. If we are to stay together, obviously.
Okay.
Rafi, do you have something you wish to do?
Something very minor in comparison to like a war. It's just, one of the kids at my City Capoeira has gone, just disappeared. I've got a couple of leads. That's something I want to look into, and then there's the whole thing with slime lights happening. But again, that's more of a gang-related thing. So they're both gang-related things. Whether they're related, I don't know. But that could be a quick job. But it looks like, do you need any help with this whole war and fairy?
I think that the forces involved will make a minor impact in any outright war. My interest is more about Queen Anya and Sir Francis. My personal interest in the war is their fates, their well-being.
Okay. How about the rest of you?
Ian's still sat on the sofa drinking quietly.
Well, you've got your thing tomorrow, haven't you, Liam? This blood thing. Find out, like, was it a lineage or history or something?
He's not minding his own business. He's ignoring you.
All right, fair enough. Hendricks.
No hugely pressing plans, although, I probably need to check in on some people. I'm up for another go around the merry-go-round.
Well, it
Cool.
may be that Lord Renwick has further employment for us. After all, there were those djinn that escaped or attacked him, or I still don't really understand what happened there. Whether that was an accident that something escaped, or it was a trap that we triggered. I'm not really sure, we didn't trigger it. That his assistant triggered it.
Yeah, something smashed.
Yes. So there's that.
Cadman.
Emily's been stood near the doorway the entire time, a bit awkwardly. I need to go back and deal with some of my charges. Make sure they're all getting along and not causing trouble. But other than that, if it benefits and protects the people, I'll come along and help.
And you, Baron.
I have a task that I need to pursue, but in private, and it's confidential. But I don't imagine it's going to be quick or happen soon. So I would be, I'm interested in helping you, Darrell, with this. This war in fairies seems like something that could be a way, a place for, or an event for me to get involved in.
War is a place for soldiers.
I have been a soldier for many years.
Exactly.
In one form or another. You're quite right.
I think, I don't know this fact, that not all of us have been to Fae. I am a bit
Never.
persona non grata, so it might need to be a covert incursion.
Well, you said that this man that is your friend has disappeared with the queen of a Fae.
Yes, the Queen Anya is the petty queen of House. Names gone off the tip of my tongue.
Monroe.
Monroe, so that's it. She rules the Fey realm of Arcadia. She is one of the summer Fey monarchs. Sir Francis Huntley is the summer knight. The role of the summer knight is to act as a liaison between the Fey realms and Tiernock. They also have business in the mortal realm. They're diplomats, emissaries. Sorry, I say they. There's a summer knight and a winter knight. Sir Francis Huntley is the summer knight. He's also my mentor.
But if they fled Arcadia,
They fled into Wild Fey. They
a wild Fey. Oh, sorry. So they're still in the Fey realm. They're
yes,
still somewhere you're not supposed to be.
yes, albeit
okay.
they're in. I could probably go with less chance of detection. It's not ruled by any of the Fey houses. I'll try and find the name of the
Just while you're looking that up.
Fled into the devouring forest.
The Devouring Forest, yes.
Sorry, just something we just asked about. I just spotted a name of something. We called it the Wild Hunt, but I've also got Blackwood Hounds written down. Is that the same? Is that just another name for the Wild?
Part of the Wildhood. The hunt.
Wild Hunt.
Okay.
That whiskey's getting to you.
So, realistically, we've got there's a couple of things that people feel like are big issues. We've got the thing with in Fey, and we've got the Djinn. Now, we don't know much about the Djinn, so I think a bit of like research is needed for that. Find out anything and everything.
That may be solved by Lord Renwick.
Maybe.
Because that was something to do with Lord Renwick that we got into the middle of.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm presuming that when Lord Renwick employed us, he talked about problems trying to get permission to come to Caer Sidi and try and get Waterdeep as well. Am I leaping to a conclusion that there's someone trying to stop him doing that?
If somebody on the council.
Well, the council being problematic, but you're right. It could be. Sorry, you could well be right. It could be someone on the council, but is he? Is our mission for him and the arrival of those Djinn connected, or it was some sort of crate that got broken open or something like that?
It smashed.
I thought it was a magical. It might have been a potential magical vessel for the transporting of the water back to Lady Renwick.
But when it smashed, loads of Djinn came out. A married Prince.
Yeah.
Bea? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
So, can I suggest something?
By all means.
Cadman needs to check on his wards. Yeah, his contacts, whatever. Which is a quick thing, you think?
Yeah, it shouldn't take long.
So we can do. Whilst we're finding out what we can about what's going on with Faye, because I assume we want to go in with a bit of knowledge before we actually go into there. Maybe we can, help Cadman just checking his wards. Liam, you've got your thing happening. Hendrix, you're happy with with hanging around for a bit, aren't you?
Yeah, like I said, there's some people I should check in with, but I'm not in a huge hurry if you need me for something.
So again, what that's something that could be done, Ross, with finding out what's going on with Faye and finding out what's going on with Marids, and the gin and stuff. So maybe we can do like a bit of like a round robin. Go and help Cadman check on his people. Go and help Hendricks check on his people. Maybe go and see if we can find anything about what's going on with the gangs and stuff. As long as it's small stuff before, and just get ready for this thing in Faye. Because if you're persona non grata, I assume that. Is it to the degree that they're going to kill you on sight, or?
At 16, I was banished from Faye by Queen Anya.
So that's the queen that's now gone
Missing, yes.
missing with your mentor.
Yeah. In fairness to Queen Anya, she had no choice.
But if you
it was a fate decided by my mother.
So were you banished on?
So out of character, will you say anything more? You've told us shitloads about your mother in sort of intro bits, but you've never talked about her in character, have you, to us?
It's painful to talk about my mother. That's I was the byblow of a misadventure she had in the mortal realm. Queen Anya forbade her to get rid of me before I was born, and made her bring me up. Didn't stop her trying to kill me, which is the opposite of Rose, but obviously Fae don't kill Fae, so she couldn't be direct. There was one direct attempt which I think stopped. It got to the point that she couldn't get rid of me apart from having me banished from the realm. My return would have to be I'll be drawn before a Fae court. I can't tell you what the outcome of that would be.
So you weren't banished on pain of death if you returned, then?
Not in so many words, no. It may be the fate, I guess.
Who is your mother?
She's a powerful Fae of Queen Anya's court.
What's her name?
Mairead.
Mairead. Bea, have I ever heard of this?
I
don't think
it's
so.
even worth a check. Yeah, because I don't think Beren has a great deal to do with the Fey realm.
No, quite agree.
So
Okay,
you wouldn't even it wouldn't even come up on your radar.
Fair enough.
The Fae courts are well balanced entities where it's not absolute rule. There are power struggles. My mother has enough sway in Anya's courts that she could manage the banishment.
Okay.
Would it serve you well with Queen Anya if you were to go and try and find her and what was it, Frank, the
Sir
Summer
Francis Huntley, yeah. If I'm being honest, I don't know where I'd stand with Queen Anya on that point. She has to stand by the law that she laid down. I'm as concerned, if not more concerned, with the fate of Sir Frank. If for no other reason than he was and
Mm.
I may be doing myself exaggerating my abilities here. Certainly at present, he had an ambition that I may be his successor.
Okay.
I check across and see if
Summer is paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe an insight check.
In about 10 minutes, is that one?
Yeah, sure. I'll schedule it in.
Oh, wait. Oh, there we go.
17, not bad.
Look at that. You're not familiar with Summer being in this form. For you, this is brand new. You usually can tell her disposition, her mood by her voice, and the general feel. You've got a somewhat emotional connection with the spirit that's within the sword. You do get the impression though that while she's having this conversation with Morwood, that there is an ear out for what it is you're saying, though she's not showing any sort of outward sign of reaction to what you're saying. But she's very astute.
As I said, Matthew, you're right. I don't think it's not something we want to rush into. We need to do a bit of research. If Queen Anya has taken the Everreef into the devouring forest, then she has good reason. But until I get a better idea of what that may be, it could be I could be leading you into a trap or worse.
I think for the moment,
sorry.
let's complete this quest, return to Lord Renwick.
Yeah, and do the immediate stuff.
And then decide what to do next.
Okay.
It is certainly good to travel with honourable companions.
You all sorry, go on.
So I said, come, let Liam not drink all the whiskey. Pass the bottle around.
Too late. You did say that the tray came out with multiple decanters on it.
Can I read?
Yeah, I mean,
I've actually looked.
Liam only took one of them.
In fairness, there's enough food and drink for 100 people
Yeah.
in this mansion,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're not going to run
9-course
out.
banquet for 100 people.
Yeah.
Though
Liam
Liam's going to have a
hisses
damn
at you.
good go at that.
Touch the decanter.
Yeah.
Just for more
Yeah, go on.
flavour stuff, actually, just to be clear, before this conversation sort of got into this conversation, Baron's gone off to the room that he's been assigned. I need to think about exactly what it looks like, but I'm assuming it's got some sort of washing facilities. So he'll have
It's en suite, yeah.
he'll have showered and cleaned himself up, and also I don't know if you remember before he sort of added an assault rifle and various other bits of military.
Are you
gear.
saying you're turning out your pockets?
No, I put everything back in the pockets.
Oh, right.
I'd say that if you want, there's a gun rack on the wall. Yeah.
No. I have my own. I am my own walking gun rack. The only other thing that's noticeable. So before, when you've seen him, he's been wandering around wearing a big long duster coat, but now it looks like it looks like he's wearing a different coat. That is, I've now lost. I've lost my character. I think it's a green, just sort of green, quite casual, sort of canvassy type jacket.
We could say smoking jacket.
No,
Yeah.
no, not a smoking jacket. No. He's not a complete twat.
No, because Darrell's just changed into his smoking jacket with DK
Right.
sort of stitched into a pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Behind Darrell's back, Beren will shake his head with despair.
I'm
Only because
gonna
you haven't got one.
I'm gonna state now. I quite like this whole get to design your own room sort of thing. I'm gonna leave that for session 17's question, what everyone's room looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone can kind of have a chance to think about what your room looks like, and give a short description when session 17 comes around. The night goes on. This is a incredibly pleasant way to spend an afternoon in the woods. An evening in the woods. Much better than camping rough. At least for some of
that's
you.
my only question. Why didn't he pull this out when we were getting attacked by bloody creeping things?
Well,
Why couldn't
because
he
it's
take
a
it out?
seventh
it seems like
level
it's
spell.
brand new, mate. He's
Fair
just
enough.
learned it.
Oh, okay.
As Hendrix has suddenly learned how to be
Yeah.
super stealthy. Yeah. Other people have learned other
2
things
hit
too.
points.
Liam's really salty with his 2 hit points. He's only got 2 hit points because he's drinking his liver dry. His body just can't get that back. In fact, Liam, make me a Constitution saving throw.
Bear in mind, you're probably in the presence of, if you're within 30 feet of one of the paladins, you get a bonus.
Oh yeah, you are. Yeah, you can add a +4 to that.
13 in.
13. You don't throw up, but things start to get like. I think you
He's
have that
drinking
moment
it-
where you've
Drinking to try and pass out.
you do at some point mid conversation, like everybody's chatting, everyone looks over. Liam's like, he's got drool
Dribble,
coming
yeah.
down his
I think
face.
snores like a buzzsaw as well.
Is Liam a morose drunk? I would expect so, based
He's a
on
He's
morose
morose.
person,
Exactly.
let alone a fucking drunk.
It was very quiet. He didn't say a word.
I think Hendrix uses his magic hand to levitate one of the smoking jackets, and you put it on as a blanket over Liam.
Yes. Soft covering. Liam is left there for the night. He doesn't enter his room. The seating is quite comfortable enough. Morwood's sort of, there is facilities in this mansion, I imagine, for extra guests should you need it. And if you wish to extend the hospitality for the whole evening, you can happily say that they all have a there's sort of like side rooms that are plainish.
Where you thought there were 7 doors before, now when you count, it was 10.
Yeah, I'm happy for you to say like the more people, because it's a magic spell. It can literally add as many doors as you like. When she opens her door, the glimpse inside is of stone walls, not harsh and like a cell or anything like that, but something perhaps you think familiar to her, knowing that she has lived she has lived her entire very long life in a rather ancient tower to the north of Caer Sidi. The evening passes. Yep. If everybody's happy with that,
Yeah,
you may all do long rests.
So the light in the room is actually only coming from that window when we go there, but there's a panel beside it that if you pass your hand over it changes the daytime into evening, and it just brings the light level down.
Just imagine Hool in his room just going nighttime, nighttime. And the view is very boring. It is Caer Sidi. It's like He doesn't know anywhere else. During the course of the evening, Hull tries to sort of like, well, he doesn't try. I think you guys are pleasant enough with him that he enters the conversation. Gwyn is very stoutly resolute, doesn't really talk to anybody. He's got that grumpy expression on his face that everything's new and he doesn't like it. He's not unpleasant, but he's just, yeah, doubt maybe. The night passes. You may all pick your long rest button, regain your hit points, all your lost abilities, etc., etc. And in the morning, there is enough food
Right.
to make sure everybody eats.
There are a couple of things we need to work out what we're going to do about. One is, actually, no, we decided on the cauldron, actually, sorry, apologies. The leader of the Ruby Jacks, is there any way we can try and recover his body and take it back?
Are you asking that to the group or to me?
The group.
Do we know where it is?
We have a guess at that place we found there'd been an ambush.
Yeah, it was one of the bodies that was tied to the tree with the thorns.
You know that, or you think that?
We think that. I think there was some indication.
I think I saw it.
Yeah, and I think there was some indication that it was Jack.
Wasn't there some?
Was it a scent or something that Hendrix picked up, or
It was.
I could probably go back and read the notes.
Hendrix got the scent of Jack from the campsite.
Yeah.
Leading from the ruined campsite slightly into the river, and then something slightly different coming out of the river and going towards the trees. And that's when you'd walk past and saw that encounter that you guys never encountered. And then you guys moved on. That is only about 2.5 hours away from where you are now, because it only took that long from that point to get to Gwydion's.
We sort of got to go back that way as well, haven't we, to get to the Dolmen.
Yeah.
So we should try and pick up his body on the way back.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't take too long, because obviously we don't know what the time delay has already been. So if we can do it and get back today, I think we should do it. Otherwise, he's not going anywhere. We can always come back to a later date.
It's going to take powerful magic to resurrect him, so adding a little bit of time to that shouldn't make much difference.
Exactly.
The only caveat to that might be what was keeping him alive was Gwydion's magic.
Oh, I think we'd rather he was dead, don't we?
Sorry, yeah. Where was preserved in his body? I suppose he just had to. Yeah, I'm not sure how easy it'll be to identify if his body's not looked after. I don't suppose anyone's got gentle repose, have they?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not a magic user.
No, and I'm not a cleric.
I don't suppose anybody's got some gentle repose.
No, anyone? No? Okay.
No.
I've heard of this spell.
Let me spell it. During the course of the morning, again, Hull joins you guys for breakfast. He asks questions about all the different food items on the thing, and just tries everything. He just seems like a kid in a shop. It's a wonder to behold.
What is for breakfast? What is on the menu for breakfast?
Yeah, what is on the menu for breakfast?
There's pancakes. There's cereals.
Everything.
There is a full English, obviously as an option with all the trimmings. Pretty much, you know it. You can have it.
He discovers what
breakfast is making me hungry.
Sorry. He discovers Lucky Charms, and that's him done. He just picks out all the marshmallow bits. Morwood approaches Liam, and after she's eaten, she'll come to Liam and say, if you wish, we can perform the blood reading here, if there is enough time for you.
What's that? Nothing. Yeah. Okay. I'll be attacking into full English.
After you have eaten, I will
He needs to eat.
with the mission of she looks towards Darrell and realizes she doesn't know most of your names. I don't believe you guys ever introduced yourselves to Morwood, did you? Though I
we
suppose
did.
during the evening, no, you introduced yourself to Huel, but not to Morwood. But I think during the evening, actually,
He'll have
it's
done
very
some
likely.
introductions or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can sort of gloss over that. And she says, if by Master Darrell's leave, I may have a room to perform a small rite into. Just a simple room, and I will need a bowl. Maybe some candles.
Okay, Darrell sort of goes a little bit blank and concentrates for a moment, and then nods his head and leads him actually to what was his bedroom doors and opens it to an empty stone room with whatever she needs.
Perfect. Yeah, she goes into this room, and she seems a little bit shocked by it. It's suddenly her room in Caer Sidi, where she has a lot of her items and instruments, and even some of her basic components are in here as well. And she kind of gives you an appraising nod, and then turns back to Liam. If you wish, we can perform this now.
Okay.
She sort of takes you over to the bowl. It's just a plain stone bowl. It's got some carvings around the outside. And she says, this is a form of magic that awakens one's true lineage, true history. To understand oneself, sometimes you must understand your sires, your mother, your father. Your ancestors can guide you into the past so that you may guide their name into the future. This will hopefully unlock some memories about perhaps not just your own genetic memories, or what has happened to your family somewhere along the line. A curse has occurred. I will craft this rite to guide you in this direction. But it is not a quick process. The rite I can perform now, but the information you will receive will happen over a period of nights of sleep. As your mind begins to delve into each area it needs to find the solution you are looking for. Does this make sense to you?
Oh, it does.
It may seem like nothing has happened, but I assure you, you have my word that something will have happened.
Kind of makes sense, you know.
So she begins to conduct this small rite. It's nothing near as grand or as powerfully conducted as the large ritual that you had seen. Just as small bits and pieces. She begins by filling the bowl with some water out of a bottle, and then as she chants, sounds almost sort of like a soft sylvan lullaby over this bowl. She adds in herbs and certain other ingredients, powdered minerals and such, and as they start to like be mixed and melded together, she gestures for your hand. When you give it to her, she has a small blade in her hand. She kind of,
Oh,
without
scared of blood.
stopping,
Without blood.
stopping, fuck off. Without stopping her chanting or this rite, very carefully, she cuts down the side of your hand so as not to do any damage to any important bits in your actual hand. So this nice big fleshy bit, and as you bleed this thick, again, this, as those experiments you've had with Dr. Westfield, your blood doesn't run so freely as a living person's does. It is thick and dark and congealed almost, but it drops into the bowl, and she runs a taloned hand, careful not to cut you, of course, over the cut, and it heals itself. She takes this looks like a knife, but it's carved bone, and stirs 3 times, and as this blood starts to mix with all the ingredients inside, it sort of, you can sense that there is a magic happening here, and it just starts to carry on swirling by itself, and it almost like reduces down. There's no like heat involved or anything like that, but it reduces down to this thick, purpley coloured liquid. Not super thick. It's not like putty or anything. And then she takes the bowl and just tips it. It's heavy sort of stone bowl. Tips it into looks like a wooden cup with a handle on it, and then offers it to you to drink. It's not got whiskey in it.
I was just trying to think of a wisecrack, but I can't. I'll just drink it.
You drink it. It tastes not unpleasant, weirdly, even though you've just seen your own blood go into it. It's not something that's going to make you throw up, though I think your stomach does turn a little, but that's probably because of the alcohol consumption the previous evening. Lead stomach, it's fine, just goes down. And yeah, that seems to be it. It all seems rather mundane. And she takes the cup back off you, places it into the bowl, just sort of like ready for later, and she goes, "It can sometimes be jarring. These dreams will be lucid to you. Depending on how you usually dream, this can seem frightening, though I think you will be able to handle this. Some parts may seem jumbled, but you can guide it to clarity, sometimes over several nights. This should last you a month, until the next full moon in the mundane realm. So whenever the full moon will chuck you into the mundane realm, you'll have like 30 days, 28 days I think it is. Should you require any more, I will offer you further aid if you need it. You get the idea that she's doing this less out of the fact that you helped her, and now more of a kindness. She could see how you were suffering, and kind of just wants you to have a little bit of closure. And yeah, you have this this potion inside of you essentially, that you can
Nice.
now. We can start describing some of those dreams when they happen.
Great.
Only because it's going to give away way too much too early, because I forgot. Gotta happen for the schedule.
One other little just admin thing before we move on.
Mhm.
We found various items, and I looked up they got put in chat, but I think we've gone past where they were in chat. There was a shield that wasn't magical, but had been magical
Looks
or
like-
something.
Yes, so there was a shield with a Triscale on it. So that's the swirly boys.
Yep.
That was it was wooden, nicely carved, but not eroded in any way. Which, when Darrell, I think, did an arcane check on it, suggests that when something that old doesn't degrade, it's generally magical, but it doesn't seem to be magical at the moment. So whatever the magical property was seems to be gone from it, but potentially could be brought back if you brought it to the right person to fix it, or
Does anyone
whatever.
actually use a shield?
I do.
Do you? Do you have a shield?
I do. My shield is very good.
Well, I don't. Do you want it then? Because it's much more. Sort of Celtic design is probably more in fitting with Cadman, isn't it?
Whichever.
It's probably worth turning it and see what Lord Renwick says. Is that his sort of area of expertise? Ancient artifacts.
Wasn't the Triscale on his like carved into his walls and things like that?
No, there was a hammer and a weapon over an anvil sort of type.
Okay.
Which is a symbol of a god, I think.
Yeah.
Govnu.
Sorry.
Govnu.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, because basically, before we move on, I was going to ask Morwood whether she knows what this is and whether she's able to return the magic to it.
It's also a necklace of 6 glass beads as well.
And then the rest was all just items.
Of monetary value.
Amounting to a certain amount.
Which was 3,400
100, yeah.
Each.
Party money.
Yeah.
So you approach Morwood with this question. She takes a look at the shield, and she goes, I don't recognize it specifically. I've seen many items similar to it, but not for some time. It is unusual that it remains so intact, and she's turning it this way and that. Many warriors from time long past would have such symbols carved or painted onto their wooden shields. It suggests that this is potentially magical in nature. She waves a hand. You can see that Darrell, she is casting Identify. I cannot seem to see that it is magical.
I think it was once magical but lost its enchantment.
Unfortunately, the spell only helps me identify that which is magical. I don't believe I could tell you any more about this than anybody else that knows what a shield is. I am very sorry.
Okay. Thank you for trying.
She smiles and hands you the shield back. And she looks at the. Are you showing her all the items, or is it just a shield?
I was just showing her the shield. I don't know about anyone else.
Well, we might as well dig out all the stuff we didn't know who it was.
Yeah. She takes the beads, she sort of turns them in her hands. She casts Identify again, and she says, "This was amongst the Dark Mage's items.
Yep.
I can't imagine that he would be using them.
Why? What are they?
They are beads to help heal. They cast the healing spells from them. And they are, if you want to make a note of this, and look up on D&D Beyond, they're called prayer beads, I think. Hang on. Necklace of prayer beads.
Okay. Ooh.
There are 6 beads. Let me write this down because so necklace of prayer beads. There are 6 beads because they're predetermined. 2 of them cast bless, and 4 of them cast cure wounds.
Cool.
And they can, I believe, be done as a bonus action to whoever holds the item.
Okay.
So those spells can be cast as a bonus action, and I don't believe you need to be a cleric or anyone. Anybody can use
Anybody
them.
can use them, yeah.
Yeah. So, Morwood says, as the nature of the Dark Mage, he would not have used such a magic to heal himself. I imagine he would have preferred something a little more dark, or perhaps even not to heal at all. He valued strength of weakness, and I suppose if you are wounded, you have no use to him. Yeah. Darrell, you get the feeling that the time for this spell is coming to its end soon. The mansion has 12 hours, is it?
Oh, it's
Something
24,
like that.
but
Oh, is it 24? Oh, in that
I'll just
case,
check.
Yeah. If not, then carry on at your leisure.
Uh, 24 hours.
24 hours, yeah. Okay, so what do you wish to do next? I see we have 10 minutes in game. We could probably get a couple of bits done if
Well, I think we want to fill up some vessels with some water. So out comes the jug of doom, and everyone gets a bit depressed about it.
Yeah, someone's already done that.
I'll go off fill up because I was off running with Liam the previous night,
okay.
so I'll fill up my 2.
Okay, yep. You'll go out whenever and can have filled those up. That's absolutely fine. Nobody stops you. Morwood doesn't interject. She doesn't seem to be objective to anything that you want to do in this realm at all, to be honest.
Is she aware of the cauldron at the bottom of the pond?
She is now, because I think Cadman pointed it out, and you guys have mentioned it. She doesn't seem to claim any ownership over it. She seems mildly interested in this this glade and its spring, but the one thing she does mention, you guys are all gathered around this glade, and occasionally, Raffi, you get this sense as well. As you guys are standing around, you can still feel that thinness between the realms. It's not as palpable as it was when you were untethered, but she kind of looks a little bit perturbed by it, a bit curious. And she looks down towards the cauldron, and she goes, "What do you know about this cauldron? Is this what you were seeking?"
It was something that was mentioned to us. we came for the waters to heal Lady Renwick, but we kind of had a bit of a discussion last night about the cauldron because yes, it can heal people, and yes, it can bring people back to life. But I got a feeling that knowing our world, it would be abused.
So when you say that its properties are to bring people back to life, it is now daytime.
Yeah.
And everybody can see very clearly in this very clear pool down to the bottom, and it's been pointed out. Everyone can see this cauldron half sticking out of the silt now. It's a fair bit down, but it's clear. And she thinks for a moment, and she says, "It can bring the dead back to life. But
Apparently,
it is broken. Perhaps it has disturbed the veil between worlds. Its enchantment has been twisted. Perhaps."
So what? If it was repaired, it would cease to have the ability to bring people back as undead.
From your description, if the cauldron was to bring people back to life, it would, once fixed, bring them back to life, not to undeath. Maybe its damage has caused the nature of the Dark Mage. Maybe this is why he was undead.
I think the story was that it was Ethnician who destroyed, not clearly fully, but destroyed the cauldron
The story also said that he died in the process
process.
because
Yeah.
no one ever saw him again. The thing about stories, it is always told by the living and those who are there. And he is neither.
Even if it is repairable, at the present moment, it is better left here. But if others will... Do you want us to speak to others about coming here for the healing properties of the waters? Or do you want us to keep this realm quiet?
For the time being, I would entrust you and anyone you choose to bring here. But it's until we are ready to... We have not been part of any other realm for forever. It is going to take a lot for us to adjust. I do not wish the realm to be overrun by strangers with potentially strange intentions. I would only trust yourselves and anyone you would vouch for.
Okay.
No, says I wouldn't trust the secret of this realm with no offence to any of the present company, any of the Mage Council. They have a very black and white view of magic and ownership of such things that doesn't necessarily sit with the other societies that share the planes of the universe around us.
Baron bristles a little. There are some on the Mages Council who could be trusted, but there are others who could not. But I have no intention of telling the Mages Council.
I don't doubt it, but those people are probably honourable enough to mention anything they know to the rest of the council, so tell one, tell all.
I have no dealings with the council, and they have no dealings with me.
I think the concept of honour amongst dealings between members of the council I am no expert on the politics of the council, but I think that is misguided. I think there is little. There is manoeuvring that goes on. I mean, half the idea of returning the dead member of the Ruby Jacks is that he is the son of someone important on the council. It will carry favour.
Nephew, yeah.
Oh, you remember the details more than I.
So we could just stuff the cauldron into someone's bag of holding and have a healing supply on tap for us then.
It's too big to go in my bag, unfortunately.
Huge. Like, looking down at it, this thing is a what would be considered a large item. So it takes up a 10 by 10 square.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's big.
It's a cauldron someone can physically get inside.
Literally, like two, 3, maybe even 4 people can get inside it. It's huge, and then probably very big. It's not a. This is a cauldron
like
of legend.
Like where the cannibals cook people.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, much like Jack, the cauldron's going nowhere. So
Yeah.
if we decide at a later date to share, or to bring it back or to share knowledge of it, we can worry about it then.
Well,
Yeah.
on that front, will it be best to leave Jack's body here?
Morwood pipes up and she says, "You speak often about this Jack, the person that has been lost to Caer Sidi.
Yeah.
And you presume him dead.
Yes.
Then perhaps we can find his body for you, ready for your return. And when we have found it, I will send a message to you. Now that there are none of the dark mages undead roaming, and the trees seem to have finally come to rest, there is no one here but us. And I'm sure Huel will be glad to help you. Huel sort of like pipes up and goes, I don't mind at all. Just tell me what direction you found, what he looks like.
Well, do we wish to take his body back now if we can? Because we think we know where he might be.
It's just a time thing. If we can swing past to grab the body, great.
If the
If not,
cauldron was repaired, could he be thrown into it and brought back?
that's what I was thinking as well.
Morwood says, I imagine if you have somebody that can repair such a thing, it would potentially take time. But it is something, of course, you are willing to. You may do at your leisure.
Oh, it won't be me. I can't even hold the tools.
I saw you drinking that shot last night. It looked very difficult.
I was just thinking the same thing.
I know someone over in Japan. Don't know anybody over here.
That was Tom or Rafi.
Yeah. No, it's Rafi. Yeah, I know someone over in Japan who could potentially repair it, but unless any of you guys know like a decent artist for over here. Well, I mean in the UK.
Well, I met, and I can't remember any of you with me, but I met I think he was where are we? Hang on a sec. The head artificer.
Oh yes.
Of the Mages Council.
Got connections.
I return back to the argument of trust in the Mages Council. He may be able to repair. Sorry.
The god who's depicted in Renwick's place. He was the after
Governor.
this new.
Yeah. So I think Lord Renwick is probably your best initial step.
Done.
If not, we so happen to know a god over in Tirano, and Sir Francis is supposed to be the emissary between Fae and Tirano.
Yeah. Although
He's just trying to get our
it's
boon.
not available at the moment.
He's he's gone to answer mail.
Yeah.
So, ready for next session. What is it that you are planning to do? In a sentence.
I think we don't take the Cauldron with us. I think Beren, with his fantastic mobile phone, takes a picture of it, and we show Lord Renwick said picture. We take back if anyone asks us about the bubble whale, we say access to it is forbidden at the moment, which sort of is, because the only person who can allow access to it is Morwood, and she'll only allow people who she wants there, so that people don't think that they could go and force their way in. And we speak to Lord Renwick about that, and if anything else. Beyond that, I think we had a number of sort of, I won't say trivial, but smaller tasks that we could carry out in terms of research, helping with gang wars and stuff like that. I think that probably takes our initial few days.
So next session will be you travelling back into the mundane realm.
Yep.
Going straight to Renwick's? Is that the plan?
Yeah.
And then
doing the
from
little...
there, obviously, information may take you off into different corners.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, I mean, there's a basic assumption here is that we arrive back and time hasn't gone crazy. I don't know if Ian or Darrell talked about it being 200 years in the past, but
this is what I was going to very quickly wanted to do, if you guys don't mind me doing it. If you guys are literally just going to go, Morwood will take you right now into the mundane realm. And if you're just going to skip over the Jack thing and thingy.
Are we leaving Ruby Jacks for a moment?
I think we're leaving the Ruby Jacks for now.
Yeah. So we go back. Yep.
Yeah.
So Morwood does this transport via plants. She opens up a portal. You step through to a tree right next to the doorman. It takes literally a few seconds and starts to perform very quick rite. The ritual circle below the dolmen glows, and you all step into it. Now, before next session, I want one of you to roll me 3d4.
As somebody else this time, because I rolled the
anybody
D20.
else. This is very important.
Looks like Kyle's already reaching for dice.
No,
Liam's done it.
Okay.
8.
8. Okay. Anybody with their phone on?
The moment Beren is through, he will turn his phone on and try and get a signal. And
Spend 2 hours on Facebook, probably.
No, he doesn't do Facebook.
You step through.
Instagram, then.
Your phone immediately starts to beep, 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 trying to update itself and things. Set to
Candy Crush is updating.
Sets to the right time. It asks you whether you want to update the time to GMT. It has been 8 days.
Not bad,
and that's where we will leave it. You also get a load of messages, but we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll pretty quickly cast teleportation circle because I'd made a note of the circle in his conservatory, wasn't it? In Redwood's conservatory.
If you want to, you could do that straight away, or you could.
The only issue with that is how did we get to the boat that brought us to the Skerries?
I don't need to get to the boat that brought us to the Skerries.
No, so
I think my Land Rover is at the port, and I think your motorbike. I think Darrell's motorbike is there.
Fair point.
No,
your stuff is back at Renwick's.
It's all Renwick's because he teleported us to a friend.
You're quite right.
In North Wales.
Yeah,
they organised an Uber for us.
as a little nudge, as a friendly GM,
Shock horror. Friendly GM. What's
you've
the
just
word
been
there?
transported to the place where the stranger was killed.
Yeah.
If you want to do, we'll start off next weekend.
Yeah, okay.
Next next session. You can choose
what-
whatever you want to do.
Yeah, but leave it till
Just
then.
letting you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair point.
Okay.
Thank you guys very much for joining us. Join us next week. And yeah, let's see where this adventure goes.
Thanks,
very
folks.
Thanks all.
Thanks for this.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.